Assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. It's me, your girl, Chit Chat. I'm not a girl anymore, I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I accept it. I'm a dick. But good afternoon. First and foremost, the new Kuneka Santa. Saying a big, huge hello to everybody that's watching right now. Also, a big hello to everyone in Gambia, my people in Senegal, my people in England. Anywhere that you're watching from, peace and more blessings to you on this amazing Wednesday afternoon. I must say a huge hello. Assalamu alaikum. Si kepa bolam kilifa buma setan fum nekani. And also a big hello to everybody that's, family member or anybody that's in Gambia that's showing me love. Assalamu alaikum. I was supposed to have the amazing Royal Messenger, but unfortunately, due to technical issues, we can't have him. But actually, in a way, this kind of works in my favor because I'm dying to talk about this, and I'm dying to talk about the issues that I've noticed for the past 5 years or not more, and that's the issue of Gambian sex, tourism, and child trafficking, and all of that. I just feel like it's high time we just have a conversation about this. And some of the points that I might be pointing out today might not actually be, might not actually sound polite or nice. But the fact is, we have to have an honest conversation about these things. So this week, I think it was over the weekend, or I think it was the day before yesterday, it was Monday, there was this huge controversial conversation that happened about the documentary that came on Channel 4. And I was like, why are Gambians acting like this for once? I asked myself, why are Gambians acting like this is the first documentary they've actually done about Gambian and sex trafficking and the boys and the men, the younger men and the predators that come from Europe or whatever, these old women that come to basically have cheaper sex with our men. And then I realized, hang on, why are they trying to portray this as it is a issue that these men are lured in and used and then tossed away? Okay, reality check. These men have actually put themselves in. It's beneficial to both parties. Let's just say that. I don't want people to. I really need people to understand that these Gambian men, they're actually sleeping with these older women, allow themselves to. And the reasons behind it could be poverty, it could be papers, it could be, I'm going to even give them the benefit of the doubt and say it could probably be love, right? But what I don't like is the image that they keep painting about Gambia, that it's a destination for sex, that it's a destination for people of Tubabs, or for Jamaicans or West Indians, or people from different descent come to Gambia and it's for sex. I hate that image. The reason being because I grew up I'm from London. I was born and raised in South London, sorry. Between Camberwell Green and Brixton. Closer to Brixton, but I don't want to be associated with that. But anyway, so for me, the way they portrayed one of the characters from the documentary from Channel 4, I was a bit appalled because I know Jamaican women, right? I don't feel like they wrote the story in a way that was beneficial to anybody. But the Channel 4 got their ratings. But once again, there was more negative coming towards Gambia. And this is in my last show, if you've watched, I spoke about social media and how Gambians are using it a certain way and how we need to start selling our country in a better light. So it brought me to anger when I saw this. Because if I'm from South London and I grew up in Bakau, which is okay. It's not the posh areas of Bakau, and I've seen Bombstas. I've seen men go out of that. Like, it's like there's a culture in Gambia that tells you that white supremacy is sort of you know, they're better than us. But I've also seen genuine relationships between a black man and a white woman. But I've seen situations where the Gambian man is only out there to find a tubab who probably won't give you anything in return, because most of the tubabs that come to Gambia are broke, right? They're not all these old people that come to Gambia for sex. I'm sorry, they're just dealing their pensions and whatnot, and because the hotels are so cheap, it's easy to come and splurge and act like you've got money. You know, if it was just about sex, there are loads of Gambian men in Europe and in Scandinavia or whatnot. But you know why they won't target those men? Because those men, I still feel like the Gambian man is not given enough validation. I'm not your hamna from Nekan in Ligay, right? They're probably married to white women. Imagine watching that, and you already know the stigma that comes with that. So imagine watching something like that, and you're thinking, shit, I'm married to a white woman right now, or I'm married to a white man right now. Is my country looking at me as if I'm a prostitute, or I'm a sex worker, or I'm here for just papers, or, you know, the list can go on and on and on. But I feel like Gambians, we need to protect ourselves just a little bit more. Because if we don't do that, the image that will continue to be sold to people will be this. Gambia is a destination where it's easy to get anything, just if you just have a couple of pennies. Because you don't have to invest a lot of money to get with these boys. Even as a black woman, you want to chill out, the Bombstas will come and approach you. But the minute that you start speaking Wolof to them, it's another scenario, it's another story. But if you encourage them, they'll sit down, they'll have a conversation with you. But in a nutshell, we are allowing these things to happen. Most of these people come from the streets. You won't see the boys that bumps on, or that bumps and follow or have sex with these tubabs that they're from families or elite families or whatever. You're talking about families that actually encourage this. There are families that encourage you na hay do tubab na mu jox la kay do tubab na mu jox la xaalis do tubab pour mu def la better off tubab mënta dimbale boppam waxtuma la yow nañ ko waxte dee. These white people that people think that they have the money to splurge in Africa, they don't. There is a huge amount of celebrities, particularly white, I'll say this, that come to African countries, take pictures of us in the worst ways, and that's the image that they portray to the people. That Gambia is a place, it's a slum. Some of us are living better than the people that live abroad. The white people that live abroad. I'm not being racist, but we live better than them. So if you're going to paint a picture of my country, at least show the other parts of it. These men that we saw, or we keep seeing as sex slaves, or as sex whatever, they allow themselves to be that way because they think that through sex is the way that you're going to secure these white women. These white women don't give a shit about you. They've already shown that. Like I said, this is not the first, and I'm sure it won't be the last documentary about Gambian men selling themselves short for a couple of pennies or a couple of pounds. So bari ben £1,000 or sokoti Santa Yala. You know, but karma is karma, damn it. I'm trying to be very calm and collected with this, but I'm a bit pissed off with this. It's so embarrassing when a Gambian guy, okay, you can be in a room with a couple of Gambian people, and the minute a white person comes in, there's a certain way that we tend to act around white people. I've noticed this. We tend to change the way we act. Society, the Tubab is worshipped. I'm not racist, I'm just saying this is how our people are. You know, society, you have to carry yourself a certain way just because you're around a white person. That you're encouraging white supremacy. Man, hamna ne man small boba. Tubab genuma. Teman genuma tubab. God has made us a certain way. Yeah, slavery has come in and gone and whatever. We still have Black Lives Matter and all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Gambia and the way we treat white people as if they're gods. They're not. They're absolutely not. To a point where now I've realized it. Before, you know, there was a taboo about you don't marry a white person. You're not allowed to marry a white person as a black woman. I've seen interracial relationships that work, but it's the stigma that comes with it. It's the stigma, and people think just because you're married to a white man, that man is balling in millions. No, I'm sorry. It's the same scenario. Two people can get married regardless of financial status and be from different races and build a home. I've got nothing against that. My problem is when Gambians think that Tubab, so for I'm not alel. I've seen pictures. There was a picture that went viral of a white man. He must have been in his 50s or something, holding a little girl, and apparently there was this whole scandal about how you know, he used to mentor he used to mentor the little kid, and the parents used to say, "Hey, ki tubabi diula, ki tubabi halebila." This was in Bakau. And I used to be in awe, and I'm like, what is this guy doing to this kid? And her parents are like, this is the tubab of my daughter. You know, this is the tubab of my child. At what point is it okay for an old man at that age to be associated with a child and the community sees it as okay? But so they hold the hand of a little girl in Gambia, and you're black and you're Gambian. You know, munko rape or whatever. Maybe that might be the case, but why do we trust white people so much and not even trust our own? Why? Sometimes you see little boys hang around tubabs, Mayma Dalasi, Mayma Minty, Mayma Halis, or Janama ice cream. Where are these kids' parents? I'm sure we don't keep track of things, but kids are going missing in Gambia. How are we keeping track of this? You see that, and the thing is, the culture of the child not being able to speak out is a more worrying thing within our society. Because you never hear of an incident where a grown-ass man is taken into custody because maybe he's from a different race, but maybe he's been molesting a child, and the child is taught to shut up. That's the community that we live in. Children do not have protection against things like this in Gambia. So as you grow up, you adapt. When you go on all of these porn sites, if you click Gambian porn, you will find more than 10 or 20 videos of our girls being raped, because I won't say that's porn. And how are they doing it? Where are they doing it? Usually it's somewhere on the beach, and they're being filmed and recorded in ways that you cannot even imagine. And then they have the audacity to say that women in Gambia have rights, or child protection agencies do exist. They do exist, but you know what? People are coming into our country and taking advantage of our people because we are a poor country. Amun. You have porn videos going left, right, and center. Some girl in a school uniform having sex with a minor, having sex with an older man in a video, and she's wearing a school uniform. You're trying to tell me you still can't take action for that? You can't take any legal action for things like that because you know why? They call hush hush. You can't talk about it. Even if you talk about it, they don't believe you. And that's the society we live in right now. I've seen people, black people. I'm not saying that Jamaicans are not black, but let's get real here. There's a particular woman on Facebook that I've discovered recently. They've been talking about her for a while, and I haven't actually looked at anything. But the other day, she popped up on my screen, and her name is Aunt Catty. How dare you? Catty, how dare you? If Gambia is such a shithole, then go back to England. All these Caribbean, like on YouTube, if you Google Gambia and you Google the stories that have been told by black people about Gambia, they're not nice. And they're usually from people from the Caribbean, like Trinidad, Guyana, Jamaica. Go back to your countries if Gambia is not suitable for you. That's what I'm saying. But Catty, how dare you? First you come into our community, we accept you. Gambia is very open like that. But you have her, and she's speaking so much garbage about how Gambian women are submissive to their husbands, how we are followers, we're not leaders. What part of Gambia have you been to? What part of Gambia? What were you doing before you even came to Gambia? What if your life was so perfect where you were? Why did you come to Gambia, Catty? It's people like that we need to chuck out of Gambia. Because at the end of the day, they're not bringing anything or not saying anything good that's about us. I've seen how gay men have come and they're coming for our boys. This homosexual vendetta that they have going on in the world, you think that people are not using our youths for sex in Gambia? Our boys are turning into homosexuals because our boys are turning into homosexuals. I'm not saying I have anything against it, but don't use the kids. Because if a kid asks you for money, like say for instance $5 or $10 or so, you call him up. You said, I'll give you $100 if you do this and this and this and this for me. That's the society we live in. See homosexuality because and because some people are so poor, they allow it to happen. And the family structures sometimes are not there. You can't speak about certain things. But as a parent or as an elder or as a leader of society, these things need to be said to us. When you go to the mosque and the churches, come on now, back in the day, when they preach, they talk about how homosexuality isn't right. Yeah, but how we act. Okay, I think that religion should be something that goes with the times. Right? These imams need to preach to us. These pastors need to talk to us. But talk to us as a generation of now and not before. If you're going to tell us that homosexuality is bad and that we're going to go to hell if we are doing it, then be in the same position to say what? Avoid X, Y, and Z. And this is the way it's coming into our country and this is how we are being targeted. But the Islamic councils, they don't want to touch on that. All they will tell you, have you ever listened to Ware and the Ware just tells you you're going to hell, you're going to hell. That's all they talk about. So they feel leading at them hell, so they feel leading at them safara, so they feel, okay, we get it. But as time progresses, we should be in a position where the imams can speak on stuff that affect us now. That affect us now. We're not saying you're supposed to bond with the homosexual community in Gambia, if there is one, or wherever they are, I don't know. But there's a way that you preach to us that we will understand. So there's no point in going on radio saying, oh, if you do this, you're going to hell, when you don't actually get to the point where you are telling us in the right way. You need to learn how to communicate. The elders of Gambia need to learn how to communicate to us. Otherwise, the generation to come will be lost. So we sit around and we talk about so many positive things that are happening to our country. But meanwhile, our kids are being molested by tubabs. The rate of poverty has gone up, especially with COVID. The rate of prostitution has gone up. Prostitution is one of the most lucrative business in Gambia. You know why? Because people are still doing it as a means of living, as a means of sometimes bugelasa. Let's just call it that. But I'm not here to judge anyone. Everybody has their reason to be a certain way, why we need to fix up a little bit. There's too many sex offenders in Gambia. There are too many people that come to Gambia for it. There are too many, and the thing is, how you know it is that Gambian tourism does not really have much to offer. Yeah, you go and look at the crocodiles at Kachikali. Yeah, you can go to a spa. You can go to look at the snakes. You can go and watch the birds. I'm sorry, these people are not coming to our country for that. They're coming to our country to get our boys and our men and our little girls and our women and get us. And the way they get us is with less than probably sometimes mediocre money. So let's stop blaming them and start blaming ourselves and our community. If your daughter comes home with more than her wages and her salary, and she has certain amount, she can afford a certain amount of things, and her life is a bit more luxurious than what you think she can afford, trust me, as a parent, you need to cross-check that. Salam Fatmata ya joke. You need to cross-check that. From there, I won't say the word, but prostitution be bad enough. And it's all based on nyaka watan. And nyaka hamlan moi community budego. If you want to see the amount of crap that they talk about on social media or on social network or YouTube or whatever about Gambia, just go on YouTube. There are people that are giving testimonies about their sexual experiences with Gambians. And it's not like they're remorseful about it, because they know that they're ruining our... And the thing is, the reason why I feel like this is a vendetta is because it is said that this New World Order is just about demasculating the man, taking away his manhood. So these homos that come, these sexual men that come, and they're predators, and all they want to do is have a taste of our boys and our little boys, for that matter. So where is child protection? Where is tourism, sex protection, and all of that? And maybe I should have someone on here to talk about it, because I can't do this alone. I can't talk about it, but nobody else seems to be talking about it. People are just talking about it from the cleaning lab. You only get nothing but probably nothing. And the worst case scenario is the sex infections and STDs and HIV is so out there, and most of these brothers ain't even using bloody protection. So yange open saboba into yange ubi put. They probably don't want me to talk about this, because that's how it is. This is the new world. You know, when you speak the truth, you stand out. When you talk about things, you get... Have you ever noticed that when people speak about the truth, you know, when people speak about the truth, you're the one that's labeled as a crazy person and you're controversial. But when people lie, it's okay to lie and say that everything is okay. But when everything is okay, people that lie, you tend to believe your own lies and you make that your truth. So when a person speaks the truth, you're looked at as a crazy person. And I feel like sometimes people look at me like, what is she talking about? I know what I'm talking about because I've realized that, you know, Satan will not have my mind and my body and whatnot. But, you know, Gambia needs to wake up. You can call in. Let me see if I can call you in. You know, I'm linking you in right now, babe. Okay. So my problem is right now.
Assalamu
Alaikum salam.
Sister na nga def?
Alhamdulillah. Santa
Ame
yàlla.
ulo ma de.
Déedéet.
Church Road.
Church Road. London.
London.
Hey, boobu yàgga bi la. Loolu suñ kër la woon.
Aha. Mala yarde Emma.
Hi, Auntie Emma.
Auntie Emma la di. Gëj naa laa gis dama la gis rek xàmmeewu ma léegi bii gaal nga de.
Moom kay moom.
But you look so beautiful.
Thank you.
Naka sa sister maam? Naka sa sister?
Mary mu ngi fine.
Mary waaw.
Ñoom ñëpp a ngi fine. Alhamdulillah. Waaw ñu ngi fi
sa topic bi nag loolu tax ma dugga sax ba pare ma laa nuyu waale ndi gëj naa laa gis tamit. Topic bu interesting nga nekk di wax noonu.
Thank you.
Topic bu interesting, but we have to talk about it. We have to.
Yeah.
Someone has to talk about it because
someone has to, yeah.
Wow, mu ngi get so bad. Ñun bi ñoo nekk xaleel. Maa ngi fàttaliku suma yaay ñun bi ñoo nekk xaleel soo foraan dara si mbedda bi ñëw. Suma yaay dafa kaata sa noppa bi. Ne la acañ dem nga won ma foo foree lii.
Wow.
You imagine danga ànda sa yaay ba fi nga ko foree nga joxoñal ko mu ne la teg ko fa nga teg ko fa joxe gannaaw. ñeme ñu loo ñëw soo dee liggéey sax ngay liggéey time bu fekk maa ngi liggéey Sénégambia su ma sarari su nekkee moo dina ma laaj foo jëlee xaalis bi suñ ma fayee moom xam na li ma fayeeku su ma ñëwee ak moo fay ak moo xaalis dina ma laaj soo ñëwee piis si biir kër gi piis laa la wax piis bu oyof sax mu ne la añ dem nga won ma ku la may piis bi te danga koo yóbbu ba ki la may piis bi oo foo jëlee piis bi ak xaalis boo am pour jël piis bi ma ngi laa wax those days ñun time bi ñoo nekk jànxa laa la wax ñu ngi liggéey sax suñ parents yi duñ nangu ñu indi fa moo daan luñ dut am moo xaalis waaye léegi dangaa gis xale yoo xam ne liggéeyuñ sa seen parents yi di leen wax ne génnee leen dépense I've seen it
exactly
man dama dem holiday Gambia gis koo xam ne mu ngi génnee dépense te liggéeyut man ne ko waay yow liggéeyuloo di sa yaay di la laaj dépense fan la fonda foofu nga koo jëlee mu ne ma hey anti xam nga things dafa hard ma ne ko things dafa hard you are not working ma ne ko man su may xalaatu toon sax pour ñun suñ time liggéeyuñ mu ñoo wax ne kobo sax suñ ko amee moom la ñoo lekka waaye du wax ne génnee leen dépense cuuraa suñ ko amee dañ koo cuuraa ñu toog lekka ko waaye doomam bi sa doom yi liggéeyuñ nga ne leen dem leen génnee indi leen dépense ñuy ayewante di génnee dépense te they are not working could you imagine that looloo xew ga man gis naa ko Gambia man dama tiit ma ne oh my God Gambia is changed now
waaye fooguloo anti Emma ne déggoo bi moo fa amatut ak sa waajur because dama feel like léegi waxtaanatuñ ak as parent and daughter nobatu bi dafa bari
waaw soo waxee rek soo waxee ñu ne sutura loolu mooy suñ problème nañ leen ko sutura xam nga su oncle la o da nga gis oncle bu biiral lifinam sa jarbaatam ñu ne añ leen ko sutura xam nga oncle lam la su ko defee ñuy wër papi xale ba sona duñ gis papi xale bi ñu ne nañ leen ko fa lii moo ñu lor suñ society bi ñun mi nga xam ne suñ demee holiday yiñ dee gis man dama dee éemu si yàlla waaru ma xalaat man suma time bi ma nekk xaleel ñun li amuñ ko woon bi ma nekk xaleel ñeme ñu loo ko sax waaye léegi oh my god léegi moom Gambia moom this is too much now it's too much li nga wax nii very interesting topic dañ ko war a waxtaanee very interesting topic waaye yoo xam bàyyi la dina am bee ñeneen ñu bugg a duga
wow thank you so much
now thank you
thank you
okay all right
kooku di woon suma anti man nekk ba London si jamono Church Road East London nama naa la lu bare I think we have another person that wanted to come in muy Modou Musa dinaa la jéem a dugal léegi nga bokk si waxtaan bi but it's high time we have this conversation and the reason why these conversations are important is because when you dunda and it's ruining our society, it's ruining our names, and it's ruining us as a community. I'm not full Auntie Emma Lau just now, which is very important. Man dama bàyyi xel ne xale jigéen yi ñu nekk di dépense are doing more than the men tamit si kër yi. The reason why they're probably doing more is because góor tamit I feel like the structure of manhood si biir Gambia so dañ ko war a revisit. Like men are so used to women saying 50-50 to a point where even in the home prior to marriage or prior to anything you're not creating that balance. I'm not saying the man should be superior to a woman, but you have to have a slight bit more more consideration sometimes. You have to have that slight more responsibility because they never in the community go more lead in Islam in I'm not sure about Quran why society go the wara am tahawai the wara am funna tek the gori should know their positions and their roles. So if the men are slacking behind nyaka hamsan sohla dunyep nak I'm not talking about all men but su fekkee ne gori nyaka nañoo xam seen soxla ak seen role si ñun it means ne we need to find a way boo xam ne conversation dina am ba nga xam ne we will reach a point where the women will not be so vulnerable, especially in the times of poverty. Man foofu laay waxee because I feel like Mod Musa mun ngaa duga de I feel like you know I feel like it's one of those things that need to be discussed. You know, I feel like a lot of people need to understand that sex and prostitution. Okay, mbaran bitamit. I want to say that mbaran is another form of prostitution. If you're not aware of that, I don't feel the need for any woman. This is not what today. If you are going to exchange sexual favors for money, or anything sexual for money, be it oral sex, be it vaginal sex or penetration, or even him fondling your body parts or whatever, and in return he gives you an amount of money, yo taneolo kuita house in Gambia or kuita how kololi kuita how bakao or whatever the ut kilian. And the reason why I say tamit nyun as Gambian women nyun baran, because most of the people that mbaran in all these coastal countries and I won't name a country because bugumatu da diki jambul, but am na ñoo xam ne suñ mbarane dañ ci dee mun a def business dañ dee mun a, but ñun as Gambians ñu ngi xelaat naka la ñoo solowee, naka la ñoo mekobee, naka la ñoo dawalee moto bu seer. My friend, that is not the way forward. Nit ki dangaa doylu si soo amee doylu si loolu. Góor mun na laa may mu xool ne waa ok dinaa la may, you know, but if it is for a favor, a sexual favor, then you need to revisit what you're doing. There is also I don't know why Gambians tend to want to appear now but we are a country of light skin more gana upa. light skin more gonna upper white supremacy. I saw a tweet the other day on Twitter, and it was about a young Gambian girl saying how black skin, darker skin girls get more men, I think, than no, that lighter skinned women get more men than darker skinned women of Gambia, and that they are constantly hating. I think I need to rephrase that. Jigeni Banjul, ñu xees yi ñoo dee gën a mun a attract góor than ñoo xam ne seen skin dafa lëndëm, so automatically yaa ngee dugal yëfi xeesal si seen xel, yaa ngee dugal affaire yi white supremacy si seen xel. And that this is in within a country boo xam ne it's 2.8 million people. This is Gambia. You know, there is this thing that people say in Gambia, which really annoys me more. Niku hair, so hair salute, or am yaram, or something nekulo diduna. What is that? It is a choice, yes. Munga hesal. You can do whatever you want to do with your skin. Yakomom. But if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, then my friend, you need to revisit your values and your mental. Because if you associate anything good with white, or being fair, or being a certain color, then Sister Bopa, you have some form of lack of self-esteem. It's like, man, okay, I do my final. Sometimes I get reviews about me and my hair and whatnot. In Gambia, I found it hard to find someone to do natural hair because how many go? But instead, I'll get a phone call from someone trying to sell me mesh for $28,000. And why would I invest $28,000 in hair that probably doesn't even look right, instead of just rocking my own natural fro? Amongst ourselves, Gambian women, we need to reevaluate what we define as beauty and what we define as fashion, and what we do. Because we are so surrounded by social media, we think that certain behavior is okay. You have women that Gambian young girls are listening to Cardi B and whatnot. That song that I heard recently is one of many songs by her. I Nicki Minaj. The content in the music, but you know she's also watching the videos. When she's away from you, what kind of behavior does your daughter do, or does your son do? I have heard Gambian boys saying that homosexuality isn't a problem. Like, it's normal. And these are young Gambian men that apparently have a new voice. And you're thinking, where? And I was so eager to ask, where did you hear this from? Because in our society, let's just go today. And how they are using these boys is the people that are from the 1% New use, because so own Gambian men sometimes are the ones that are turning these young boys into homosexuals. They have a fetish for it. So at what point will we understand that the problem is not always from indie? It's sometimes within our community. We're not keeping tabs of what the youth are doing. We're not keeping tabs of what the boys are doing or the girls are doing. Some of us are so focused on the women and what they're doing, to the point where we even ignore our young men, our boys. I have a son. If my son says, "Ooh, this is Wang," and I'm like, "Yeah, boy, you better like Wang," because I want my son to grow up and feel like he is into women. I've got nothing against homosexuality, but just don't bring it to me. It's even when we watch movies, when there's Netflix and there's YouTube and there's all these things that these kids watch, these teenagers watch, They mimic things. If you do not have a dialogue with your kids, your child will echo anything that they see. That is a dangerous thing. Any child you have echoes what they see. So if you're not sitting with your kids and telling them and talking to them via conversation, for them to actually echo Lolu in the right way, or to express Lolu, where are they going to get their means of education? Education, where are they going to get facts like lifestyle traits and attributes that they will actually use? Where are they going to get it from? Social media and outside in the streets. Yala, like if you have a kid, I pray that God raises those kids for you if you're unable to do it. Because I'd never be the wow. And it's a sad situation because Gambians are poor. Gambians are among halis. Even the people that claim that they're rich in this country, in our country, they don't have money. The real people that have money, you need to talk and jambo. But the rich people in the streets that act like they're rich, they're not rich. So right now, that's what we're faced with. And those people are the people that our kids look at and think, yeah, I have to be like this. And sometimes in certain circumstances, they're not right people to take as role models. Think of what it is. So I really, really, really would love, more contribution. Please call in. Just send a request. Just all you have to do is I want to join the conversation. I'll add you in. But we need to have this conversation. There is a lot of sex exploitation going on in our country, and people don't talk about it because they don't want to talk about it. Sometimes certain cases, like there was a rise in rape cases recently, and none of those women have still gotten justice because we have a hush-hush community. We're not allowed to talk about it. What was she wearing? That's another thing that pisses me off. A woman does not have to wear a certain thing to be raped. The moment she says no or she does not feel comfortable is the point where you should stop. But a lot of these girls have been raped and they don't have anywhere to go into because they know school explain no. You len ko hole community be fandaw. Nga dem wax ko nit koku dem wax ko keneen mu nekk a point of discussion ñëpp di la ko jowee ñëpp di la ko xoolee. And from that point, her self-esteem goes down. She probably has anxiety, all these things, depression, all these mental problems that happen in this country. A lot of these Gambian women are suffering from problems with mental issues because we do not have the right place to discuss things. It's like you're filling up something and look up at a plate turu. And our girls are being victimized. We're not allowed to speak. And it's not like we're not allowed to speak by our families. Usually it's the society that we live in. You can't tell anybody anything because in an embellished story be what heck of an go change context be Joey loko waiting for the buyage. You're just like, you know what, I might as well start selling myself, or I might as well just turn into a nympho and start sleeping with every Tom, Dick and Harry. Most women that are sometimes promiscuous before marriage, people fail to understand that they have probably been raped sometimes before, or they've gone through certain things that mentally they feel like they're not good enough to be valued or good enough to be loved. Likewise with the men. People tend to talk about how women are always raped. Sometimes our men are being raped and they don't talk about that in our society. Our little boys are being raped. I'm not how boys. If you sit down with someone and then you ask them, what was your first experience, your first sexual experience? Sometimes it's usually the maid or an auntie or somebody as a child. And those stories are never been told because you know why? The community can these are the things that are happening. But it is happening. Some men are raping these girls and not even realizing. There was a point where I heard a conversation a couple of months ago when the rape cases were on a rise, and the person said to me, "Ha, su fekkee ne loolu rape la, nga force jigéen mu bañ, su fekkee ne loolu la rape la nga continuer, ah dafa mel ni ñu bari ñun kon ñun rape nañ." And I'm like, yeah, because sometimes men tend to think that a woman will say no because what's it called again? She's playing hard to get. She's not playing hard to get. She actually probably said no, and you took away something that was precious from her, and you deflowered her, or you, even if she wasn't a virgin, you don't have the right. And we need to talk about this. It's not, we can't always hide behind our smiles, our makeup, our hair, our facades, because we don't want to be judged in our community. But right now, it is time for us to speak up, as men, as women, when it comes to anything dealing with our bodies, especially when it's sexual. You know, I mean, I said this one before, our parents need to be more open to us. We're grown now, but the generation to come, open. If you have a child, make sure you have a dialogue with your child that's direct. Don't talk about the birds and the bees, because now the kids have more than just the birds. They know these things from watching TV. Even the cartoons that kids watch, they're kissing up and doing things in cartoons, and these are cartoons that we watch every day with them. When is it okay for a cartoon character to kiss another cartoon character? It's so, if you do your research online, you'll see that there is a subliminal brain programming system that there are sick people in the world that put graphical things in cartoons, and these are things that our kids watch. So be mindful of what they see and what they absorb and what they learn and what they study. Because if you don't intervene, whatever they see, that's what channels them. That's what comes out. So going back to, I might have another call. I don't know. Should I have another call? I'm not too sure. But like I said, you're watching a Chit Chat with Chat, and I was supposed to have Royal Messenger on today. Unfortunately, I decided to not give in to my technical difficulties and just have a conversation with you guys, because I just feel like the conversation of sex exploitation in Gambia and mbaran and all of that, we don't really talk about it, you know, even in terms of rape and things like that, we don't discuss. So it's high time we just open up and talk to our boys and our girls on what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong. If your child comes to you and says, oh, you know, prior to period, you know, girls have been taught also, no, have a conversation with her and tell her, if her penis does something to your vagina, this is what it's called. It's called sex. Be honest enough in that way. I don't believe in filtering through, because the more we filter, the more fake and the more unreal will appear in the front of our kids, because the kids will find information whether we tell them or not, because it's on the internet. Every child now has a tablet. What contents are they watching? You know, how are they getting all this information? Now that homosexuality is so out there, you see a man and a man hold hands in the street. Your kids have started to understand that this to them is normal. You know, a woman and a woman to them is normal. But you know, we need to try and take the devices off these kids and try and have conversations. And I know that it's hard. I know we all have to go to work. I know sometimes you just want to have a break. But yàlla du la dénka loo xam ne doo ko mën war nga koo mën a sàmm. Loola yàlla dénka muy doom. Am na ñu ko bëggut. Ñu ko mënta am sorry. So su la ko yàlla dénkee try and do your best nga dugal si moom diine nga dugal si moom respect nga dugal si moom ragal honor dignity and the morals that they will use for tomorrow and they can pass on to that next generation. But I feel like everybody has given their kids a tablet, a mobile phone. I mean, take it off. You don't have to go to the room, sir. Now I'm like 4 different people in the family sitting together, but everybody's on a device. Where's the dialogue? Where is the dialogue? Danga tek boole añ sax xale bi mu ngi jël camera bi di def Snapchat di wane lan ngeen amee lan ngeen di lekka, and you put it on social media, and to now it's like, oh si la toolu tooluwut si loolu si lum toolu mooy conversation waxtaan diggante parent ak doom dafa important, because if that is not there then mbera dina la ko yaral te loo si go begaat ko, and that's the problem. So going back to sex exploitation when it comes to the tourism industry, we need to stop blaming the people that are coming into our countries and realize that we sometimes are the problem. Then gum tubab and white supremacy. Then gum lu weex ak fake hair. Then gum ne Kim Kardashian moo gën Kumba Gawlo Seck. Let's just call it that. Then gum ne 38 inches of hair or 28 inches of weave moo gën natural afro. Then gum ne sol yere tubaab moo gën suñ dagit ya suñ malaan yeeg suñ sol suñ African culture dafa neex. Waaye fi mu nekk ni Gambia is so diluted ba xàmmeetuñ suñ boppa. White privilege bi dafa bari Banjul. A Gambian will put his own brother or sister aside so fekkee ne there's a tubaab in the room. You know? Sorry. We need to stop doing that. We need to stop putting people of white descent or Arab descent or Nad descent or whatever descent. If a person of another race does not respect me enough, and sometimes they can be bloody disrespectful. They can be disrespectful, but you will be treated the way you want to be treated. If you show someone respect, you get respect in my situation. If you want to show me that you feel like you're better than me, I will show you that you're not better than me. And I'll call you out. So that's the problem. We have so many people, so many Gambians that are earning a decent and amazing living. You get am sen sutura, you get am sen jambur, you get def sen ligay for years, deka out. Deka yu rafet ken xamulu len, immigration xamulu len dara, whatever. But when you see documentaries that come out, like the ones that come out from Channel 4, there are repercussions, and the ripple effect of Lolo is that the immigration for any country will look at us as, yeah, oh, these are the Gambians that have such a easy sex tourist market. That's what we're going to be known as. Oh, these are the Gambians that for Sodeme, Sendikabi, it's easy to get a woman. I've heard Nigerians, our fellow Africans, talk about our women. You know, how it's cheap, it's like Gambian women are cheaper, you know, to sleep with. Some people come to Gambia just for that. And they're not always Tubab. But the reason I say Tubab is because the Tubabs are the ones that are on BBC or Channel 4 giving us a bad name. Feka, it's just a bunch of boys that have not got their priorities straight, that are doing nakasudud nono to think they're going to get a better style of living or a better standard of living by sleeping with a white person or a white woman who is old enough to even be their grandmother. That's the image that they've painted. So I'm going to try and wrap it up today. I'll be back on Friday, inshallah. But that was the topic for today. We need to start painting a better image for ourselves. We need to stop white privilege in Gambia. Genunyu. We need to stop light skin privilege in Gambia. Genuine. We need to start realizing that our youth are being preyed upon by people of color or white descent, or sometimes even our own people. We need to be more sexually aware of what content our kids are watching. We need to open our eyes and realize that we need to do the work as parents, because COVID-19 has come to us and we're spending more time with our kids than we have ever spent before, and our families. Use the opportunity to learn from each other. Use the opportunity to know one another. You know, not all there's always a good and a bad situation, but this particular topic that I'm talking about is dialogue with our kids. We need to protect their minds and protect the people that they are supposed to become. Ken xamut yàlla fan lu tax mu dee jël doom rek ne la waa am, but su la ko dénkee do your best. Yombut, it's very dafa métti. Sometimes you'll work late hours and you'll be so tired, doo ko tal. But you have to find time to speak to your kids. Find time to speak to one another, because benn xel du xel. You know, you see someone going down the wrong route, it's okay. Call them out, you know, like, man day laa gis kaa ñu waxtaan, because xamuloon na kooku just needs someone to talk to at the time. You know? And bumps boys, you can't take, mënuloo génne bumps in Gambia. But boys, if you're going to do it, protect yourselves. There are STDs, there are sexual transmitted diseases, there are other kinds of infections. And it's just, there's so many complications from the actions that you allow to do in the name of poverty, that danga want to evaluate support. And I know a lot of people from back out that are watching this right now. Man xam naa leen, xam ngeen ma. And the reason I'm saying this to you is because dangeen war a dégga ne li ngeen nekkee du leen yóbbu fen, bro. It won't take you anywhere. Tubaab is not a future. Tubaab mënut laa guarantee dara. But su fekkee ne the real reason you're linking up with this Tubaab is for love, or yaa ngi gis ne yaa ngi ko amal bugel or cofeel or whatnot, and your intentions are pure, then go ahead. Waaye kaama tamit sëya nit yaakaar nga tas yaakaari kooku based on ne dafa am loo bëggoon si moom, yàlla dina fay de, because yàlla nim la bindee nga nekk nit ku ñuul noonu la ko bindee mu nekk tubaab. And dara buy daw si yow mooy daw si moom. So kaama ak tas yaakaar yàlla dina ko fay si kaw suuf. So we need to be very careful about the fingers that we point and blame amongst races. So on that note, thank you so much for listening. I'll be back on Friday, inshallah. And thank you, Auntie Emma, for calling in. And the show, whenever I do it on my own, it's okay. You guys can call in. I'll be absolutely open for the more discussion, and I really want to hear your feedback. So please feel free to send me a message at any time, and I'll be open to hear you out. Thank you so much for joining me, and have an amazing rest of the week, as it is midweek. Have the rest of your week in pleasure, and I'll be back on Friday, inshallah. Thank you so much. Bye bye.